start the Board of Health meeting. We have on our agenda, first thing we have is the COVID update. Melissa, if you happen to have something to
But
update.
what an update I have. So I know I emailed you guys all yesterday, but wow, still in complete shock. I mean, we got an email yesterday morning, probably around 9:30, saying they were going to be hosting a 10 o'clock call for local public health. So we jumped on it. And as you know, I mean, the governor announced things 20 minutes later. So we weren't really in the know too much prior to everyone else. With the state being on track to meet their vaccination goal, they do anticipate vaccinating a little over 4 million individuals by June. They are looking to lift all of the COVID restrictions come May 29th. So it's definitely been, I'm sure everyone's kind of in the same page. We've been working tirelessly for the last 15 months. So I think we expected more of a gradual transition back. I definitely understand that people are ready to get back to their day-to-day. So I know I emailed everyone kind of the outline of the changes. So all of the guidance that we currently have will be rescinded come May 29th. But prior to that, there was a few changes today that took place. So youth sports, outdoor sports are no longer required to wear masks while outside. So that was one of the changes. They do still have to adhere to the guidance put forth, unfortunately, only until May 29th. That being said, I know Carol was speaking right before the meeting started, but each group can decide to require masks, have certain guidelines put in place, obviously, whatever their comfort level is. It happened rather quickly, so it might be something where people are looking to implement in the interim and then slowly become more relaxed. The face covering guidance will also be rescinded May 29th, and it will in line with the CDC guidance. So they are still advising individuals that have not been vaccinated to continue to wear a mask, both indoor and outdoor. They are saying if you've been vaccinated, you do have an added protection and that you would not be required to wear a mask both inside and outside. Face coverings are required in certain circumstances. So public transportation, congregate care settings, medical buildings, and then obviously the K through 12 individuals, because as you know, individuals under the age of 12 are not eligible to receive the vaccine. So they are still requiring masks to be worn inside of school. On outside areas, if it's for school educational recess, they are no longer required to be wearing masks outside. So the state of emergency does still stay in effect until June 15th. The process behind that is they're trying to tie up execute a lot of emergency orders when COVID started. So they're looking to see which ones they want to keep into place, which ones they want to dissolve. So some of the orders were allowing restaurants to have certain things that they weren't allowed to have prior to COVID to obviously ease the burden. They had a lot of financial issues with COVID, a lot of things that we were allowed to do with the remote meetings. A lot of the emergency orders they will review, so they want that additional time, and that's why they extended the emergency order until the 15th of June. So we should know a little bit more about what guidance will stay and what will be dissolved. To touch upon the vaccines. So as you know, vaccines are still readily available. They did just open up last week that Pfizer is now able to be used on individuals ages 12 through 15, where before it was 16. So we are actually actively working with the schools now to try to see if we can provide some sort of vaccines to that age group in the Walpole school system. So hopefully we can go that way. I know a lot of the kids that meet that criteria have already started to be vaccinated. So that's something to look ahead to. We are still working on camps and pools. It's crazy to think that the guidance that we've been giving to individuals over the last 15 months, and even as soon as yesterday prior to the call, is now obsolete. But that being said, I do still think that we need to stand strong and, advise people to do best practices and and what they should be doing, because COVID obviously has not just disappeared and won't disappear on the 29th of May. But if anyone has any questions, I know it's definitely been a lot to take on, and we're fielding questions in the health department. So a huge thanks to our staff in the health department, because we're all kind of shocked by the new news and just kind of working through all of those questions that people are, directing towards us.
Keeping you on your toes, that's for sure.
Exactly. We're constantly pivoting.
He's unbelievably flexible at the end of this, huh? Great. Well, thank you very much. Those any questions from anybody from Melissa? If not, the next we have is the approval of the minutes from May 4th. If anybody had any edits or comments on the minutes.
I found one thing under the septic variance at 17 Pleasant Hill Road. The motion was made by Mona Bistany and it was seconded by Mona Bistany. So I don't think she did both.
It was very busy, huh?
We'll make a change to that.
Okay.
So I don't know who, I don't recall who did what or whatever, but we can probably figure that out.
We definitely can.
Thanks. I didn't find anything else.
Nothing for me.
Okay. Well, then if there's no other comments, do we hear a motion?
I'll make a motion that regarding the minutes from May 4th, the Board of Health has only one correction.
Okay, motion has been made. Do we second?
Seconded.
Perfect. Motion been made and seconded. Any other discussion? Then we will vote. Carol,
Aye.
Stefan,
Aye.
and I will, there's three of us, correct? That's it. I also, so 3-0-0. All right. Next on our agenda is animal permit for 5 Alma Road. I don't know if there's anybody that's on the call that is would like to discuss their permit application. That would be great, Trish, if you could.
Oh, sure. Thank you. I do have one neighbor here. Chris Reynolds is our neighbor directly next door. Chris sent an extraordinarily nice letter that was included in the packet, but Chris, I didn't know if there was anything additional you wanted to add.
Just that, oh, I got to unmute. Sorry. All right. Am I unmuted? I don't know.
Oh, we can hear you.
Oh, you're good. You're
Oh,
good.
then we're good. Okay. I just changed computers, so it's a little different. We're really enthusiastic about, the kids in the neighborhood, because we seem to have a lot of young kids now in the neighborhood. I think will really benefit from the exposure to the animals. So my wife and I, even though we're not kids, we look forward to seeing these goats.
Great. So like you strongly support the permit. That's great to hear. And they're looking through some of the other correspondence, a lot of positives, and I didn't see anything of any concern from anybody.
No, and Rich, we did have Henry, who was filling in as our animal control officer. He did go out, look at the site, and had full approval of it.
Perfect. And
I'd like to mention that Chris wrote a beautiful letter. His letter really stood out from all the others.
Oh, thank you.
Very well. So the everything we have, manure plan, all of that is all approved.
Everything's been approved, correct.
Great. Well, that's awesome. Do we hear a motion?
I'll make a motion regarding the request for the animal permit at where's the address for the 2 female Nigerian dwarf goats. We fully approve.
Perfect. Motion's been made. Do we hear a second?
Second.
Stefan seconds. Great. A motion has been made and second. Any other comments or discussion? Then we will take a vote. Carol,
Aye.
Stefan,
Aye.
and I full-heartedly support also. So congrats. Thanks so much, Trish.
Thank you, Trish.
Thank you guys very much. Gonna make a lot of kids very happy in that neighborhood. Thank you, Chris. too for coming on. I appreciate that.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it. That's gonna be great. Can't wait to see him.
I know the pressure is on now, Rich.
That's right. We'll figure out what the names are gonna be, right? That's right. We get the 6 chickens and we can barely tell them apart. So we call them all just her. All right. Well, thank you very much. Appreciate that. And next on our list is lifeguard variance for Swan Pond.
Sure. So this is a lifeguard variance that you guys have seen for some years now. It's for the adult only pool, which is the upper pool. So they have the 2 pools there. The lower pool is staffed with lifeguards and children are allowed to swim in that pool. The upper pool is adults only. So they do look for a lifeguard variance every year. And I did include the previous motion that was made in last year. And the board typically approves it in regards letting them know that they do have to have the appropriate warning signs posted around the pool and that they have to obviously file the indemnification agreement form with the health department.
Very good. And I assume after the last motion that was made, signage was up and posted, I imagine, from the last time. We have any problem?
Correct. It's always been up, but what we will do prior to issuing our permit, RICO will do an on-site inspection, and that's something to definitely determine whether or not it's in place and adequate prior to issuing the license.
Sounds good. Do we have any motion for this?
So Rich, I should make my first motion. I've been practicing this for a while, but so I'll make my first motion for this one, and I'll just kind of echo what Mona said on the last one. So the board has no concerns based on the previous variance applications and good performance. The board does require that the appropriate warning signs are posted around the pool, and the Redwood Mews submit to the Town of Walpole Board of Health a standard indemnification agreement. Is that the same one, or is that the?
No,
That is
Okay,
the same,
hold
but it's
on.
for home for
The
Swan
same thing,
Pond.
but the homes at Swan Pond.
Yes,
Thank you.
perfect. Excellent.
All that pressure's off now. Great job, Stephen.
and I'll second that.
Perfect. Motion been made and seconded. Any further comment? Criticism on Stefan's first motion? Are we good?
It's a great motion.
Well, you can already use my first statement on the second motion too, because isn't the Redwood Mews the second one?
That's it. Get there. We'll probably have to,
But we have to vote on the first one.
he's all warmed up, so we'll be ready for the second one. So we'll go ahead and vote. We can vote for the motion. I'll start with Carol,
Aye.
Stefan,
Aye.
and I also, so 300, the motion passes. The next one is a lifeguard variance for Redwood Mews condos.
So
Same,
similar to this, this is a condominium unit and typically adults that are living there. It is fenced in, it is under lock and key. So only those that reside there would have access to it. And again, a similar variance that we see every year. So just making sure that we have, it's been obviously granted because of good performance, but making sure that they have adequate signage, and then obviously they file the standard indemnification form.
very good. Anybody would like to make a motion on that?
I think Stefan did a great job on the other one.
Yeah, I'll just echo what I said in the previous one, but this one for Redwood Mews condominiums. Do I have to say it again, or is what I already said good?
You can say ditto.
Ditto.
I'll second that.
Motion's been made and seconded. Any other discussions? Not, then we will we'll vote. So Carol,
Aye.
Stefan,
Aye.
I also 300, the motion passes. See, getting easier, huh, Stefan?
I expect to see ditto in those meeting minutes.
Perfect. All right, the next we have is the request for comments from the planning board, El Sabi Estates.
Yes, so there were some revisions. We saw this last in January of this year, so January 19th. I reached out to the engineer just to see if there were any specific changes that might interest the board. Again, it was just revisions. that they made based on the town engineers and the fire department comments, but he said it was just minor revisions. They moved stormwater basin 1 a little and are proposing to revegetate some previously disturbed areas along the rear lot line. They also have noted that it is going to be a private way. So that will impact trash, like trash will have to be brought up to the end of the street. They did widen the street a little bit by 2 feet so that first responders can get down the road. It is, as you can see, lots 3 and 4 are definitely within the buffer zone and do have some wetlands in them. And then they would have on-site septic and soil testing was already conducted in 2018 with Dan Merrican, who's the engineer, and with Melissa.
Okay.
So the comments would be fairly similar to your last comments, as there have been no really large significant changes from when we last saw this.
Okay. Does anybody want to make a motion on this? If not, I can make a motion regarding the 32 Starlight Drive, Alice Arby Estates. Excuse me, the Board of Health. I'd like to reiterate the comments that were made, was it January 19th, 2001 meeting?
2021.
2021 meeting. And actually, board voted to reiterate the previous comments from the, okay, I got you. So the 21st, right, January 19, 2021, with the same information listed.
I'll second that.
We have a motion clumsily and a second properly. So any other further comments? And we will take a vote. Carol?
Aye.
Stefan?
Aye.
And I say aye also, 300, the motion passes. The last one is 1427, 1429 Main Street Definitive Subdivision Planning Board.
So John actually, John Glasser spoke to this last time, but it had been submitted to us too late to have it on the last Board of Health meeting. So it's just that it's extending Marion Street, and there's currently on Main Street, it's near the Dunkin' Donuts. I don't know if you remember what John had explained the location. There's an existing commercial building that's fairly new construction, and they want to divide that lot in two to keep the front commercial, and then in that back portion, extend Marion Street to have access to that lot, and then build a single family home. And it will need an on-site sewage disposal system, so an on-site septic.
And it still haven't seen a plan, a septic plan or anything at this point?
No, I'm sure they still have to like get approving from planning to be ordered to go forward with this, and then we would see that plan once they're looking to actually building the single family home.
Gotcha. So at this point, we're just basically reiterating our approval from the prior meeting. Would say we have no
Yes.
more comments.
Nope, exactly.
Gotcha. Anybody want to make a motion regarding the Main Street subdivision?
Can we say ditto on this one? I like that ditto.
So that will be the motion. We'll reiterate what we had from our last meeting with no additional concerns. And do we have a second?
I will second that ditto.
Stefan seconded. And we have a motion. It's been seconded. Do we have any additional comments or discussions? And we will take a vote. Carol?
Aye.
Stefan?
Aye.
And I also, 300. And that one passes too. Great. Did we have, oops, I just closed off the agenda. Anything new information?
No
Nothing?
real new information. We do have our next Coalition for Alcohol and Drug Awareness meeting next Tuesday evening at 6:30, and that will be via Zoom. So just something to put on your calendars. It will be our last meeting before the school year ends, and then we'll pick back up in September. Our next Board of Health meeting is June 1st, and then at that point, we'll discuss an abbreviated schedules for July and August. So I guess think of what you guys would prefer to do, but again, we can discuss it in June.
Melissa, did you say that, I thought you might have already mentioned this, but after June 15th, these meetings have to move to in person. Is that correct?
So it hasn't been definitively decided yet, but I know that's a part of the executive or emergency order. So we should have more information by then. But I would say as of now, our June 1st meeting will be remote. But we should hear something in the near future, and I'll keep you posted on that. And I don't know if that's going to be something where a hybrid version would be allowed, where if you're not able to physically be in person, could you, be there via Zoom? I'm not 100% sure of that, but we'll have to figure out. I'm assuming we'll keep with the same, first and third Tuesdays of the month, same time. And we always have had that room 112, but we'll firm that up for sure. For if not our next meeting, probably the meeting on the 15th.
Yeah, I don't have any concerns personally, but I was actually thinking about if people want to come to the meeting, the public, how would you manage people with concerns?
I agree. And that's something I think we as the town need to think about as well, because obviously everyone might have a different comfort level. So even members of a board might not feel comfortable to, participate in person. So that's something I think that they'll take into consideration as well. And then I know, like we referenced, different businesses being able to do certain things and provide certain guidelines, masks could potentially be worn and things along that nature. So I think before we do meet in person, we can definitely come up with the guidelines that we want to see for our Board of Health meetings.
It's a good idea.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Stefan.
And that June 1st is the day after Memorial Day. Everybody okay with anybody traveling or any issues with that day? No?
No, I think.
No major traveling plans, no nothing
Mhm.
exotics. Okay. Great. Then we will do the June 1st next meeting. And we will vote to close the meeting. Carol,
I vote to close the meeting.
Stefan,
Aye.
and I also. Yes, we don't have to vote to close it, do we, in the future? What do we normally do?
No, you do need to adjourn the meeting. You are. No, you meeting adjourned, and then we just put the time, we timestamp it as to when we close the meeting out. So no, that's perfect.
All right, we survived another one.
You're
Thank you,
doing great.
everybody.
Honestly, it's a learning curve in general, but to do it remote, it just adds that extra confusion. So you're doing an awesome job.
Thanks, everybody. Great time. We'll see you
Thank
on
you.
first.